Tall,
I know.
On who?
It's important there.
in a shorter chair.
Oh,
Okay,
Um,
so
How are you?
I suppose we can just do it.
Look at it earlier.
why are we distributing that?
Didn't realize I had-
Because you guys negotiated.
I care about this turn.
I don't know. Came in and-
His-
It's on, it's recording, you guys can start. I'm almost done with my
We
class.
approved his contract like last
Yeah.
month. So that knows, but,
Okay, well, should be fine.
hey, Gail,
It's on, it's recording, and we can start, is that what you said?
Yeah.
do we need to approve vice principal contract? Since they negotiated. But we've approved the contract, but they negotiated the salary.
Salary, probably should, next year, though. Thought about it. Yeah, for next year. No, I meant renegotiate the following year, right? That's what I was.
Right, but I don't remember.
So we better have a discussion about
Better have
that.
it, yeah, because I have no information about that. Totally didn't even think about it because I wasn't involved.
Talk Janet. on that one too.
Okay.
And no, I had it down here to talk about the negotiation piece, but I don't know about the actual.
Can we just wait until she pops back in here and she can,
6:30, she's coming in. Sure, we can do that.
I thought she was gonna be here in about 5 minutes.
Well, she was gonna turn that on and leave, and then I think she was coming back at 6:30.
So I think it's already on, isn't it?
Go ahead, print it, go ahead, never can find it.
Did you find it, Mark? Did you find everything? I think so. Oh. Well, April.
You guys ready to start?
I think I am.
Not there yet, not finding.
Yeah, okay. Oh, good.
Good, because we're gonna have a question for you. Once we get started here, we better just. All right, at this point, what are we looking at? 6:01. I call this meeting over the North Lake School District 6:01. We have a couple of people coming in a little bit tardy, but they will be here, so we'll just go ahead and get started with the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
All right, Dan Jensen,
Here?
Pat Duffner,
Here,
Rob, is he gonna be here?
Yep.
he will be.
Yep.
And then Preston is.
Any changes or additions? Main agenda. So we will put under negotiations, which is 521. We'll expand that.
To approve.
Yeah, that's what I gotta check with Janet, but we'll expand that
Oh.
conversation there.
Contract out.
Yeah. But we'll get to that. Okay? Anything, Scott, you good?
I'm good. I'm just still trying to find it.
Okay, well, when you do. We'll.
Remember, I said earlier, we're good.
All right, good. Public comment. It's always crickets. Come on, somebody just make something up for the next meeting. That's your assignment. Come on. All right, consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda to pull off? Was it acceptable by everyone? I had a couple of changes on the minutes that I got to Janet.
Yeah.
prior to that. So those were just minor corrections and we have those corrected. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda for this evening's meeting of April 13th.
Second.
Thanks, because we're running out of people. Been properly moved in second, all in favor, raise your hands. 3-0, Janet. Thank you. Board discussion, board goals update. Any updates on any of our board goals? Anybody do anything to meet any goals since the last meeting? I'm saying none. Okay. I don't have anything to add to that. The board committee reports, interviews, we haven't had any, I don't think yet. CTE Ag, Scott?
Let's see, the FFA held their annual banquet, was very well attended, a large crowd, probably one of the larger ones I've seen in a long time, so everything went well there and looked like the kids had a wonderful year and did well.
Good.
That's about it.
Excellent. Budget, getting to the budget later. Foundation, Preston isn't here. He didn't say anything when I talked to him on the way here, so. Good. EST, anything new? Scott?
No meetings recently.
Okay. Capital, Mark?
No, but I'm guessing Barry's got some updates for us on.
Yeah. Got a roof update here, so, okay, perfect. And Stacy and I did not connect on NLCSN, so I don't have anything on that. With that, 521 is VP Negotiations Committee, and that was Mark and Preston, right? So the negotiations went and are completed. Our question, Janet, I believe we approved vice principal contract at the last meeting because I read that through the minutes. So do we have to approve what they negotiated in terms of
I would
those?
say yes,
Yes.
because we already had a contract in place and then renegotiated, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Was there a motion to accept the negotiated terms for that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the terms for the VPAD contract for 26, 27, 27, 28. As presented.
So what are the?
6 and 4.
No, I told Monica, but I don't know. 6 and 4.
6%, 4%.
Oh. Yeah, my brain, I'm sorry, I'm still in school mode. Okay,
And then the updated language on the 200.
yes, on days, yeah, and that I think was already taken care of
On the first.
initially, so really just the 6 and 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a change or update, I guess.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, we'll need a second, I guess, before we discuss. It falls to,
Pressure's
I
on.
mean, I could do it.
All right, I'll second that.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. Is there any discussion beyond what we've heard? Good. So I guess next time, I don't know, I think that one got dropped or missed when we had it on the agenda from the last meeting, because we voted on that contract. And then at the end of the meeting, Aaron said, well, we haven't negotiated stuff. So somehow we're gonna have to get that process.
That's, I think that's between him and you guys as far as,
Okay.
I just wrote down what they told me.
It was just messy, so,
Yeah.
okay,
Preston came, I almost think if the board would type up something that just said, hey, we met on blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Here's what we,
and that was my goal with this, was just a committee report of
Yeah.
what happened there, so
Yeah.
that's
we can
something,
get a committee report next time, that'll.
okay.
That
Yeah.
would be really helpful.
We need to put that in front of the other piece of it, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So we need to know, I guess, some sort of a warning as to when those triggers of those contracts, like Cameron's contract.
You guys said it's up to them.
I think we put something in there about prior to the March.
Prior to the March 15th.
Yes.
February's.
Right, but will
You're
will
right.
you notify us, or are we gonna try to remember? That's the piece.
And that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that same language is in, was in Aaron's.
Yeah, we'll have to take it.
We can say, yeah. we can-
Okay,
But I think that would streamline the process, sure.
there just needs to be some
Yeah.
trigger to
Yeah.
make sure that we don't
Yeah.
miss that.
But I do think that's on the employee to say, hey, this is coming up. I want to negotiate.
Maybe,
Because there's,
we just had this conversation
Yeah.
yeah,
in another forum, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, with teachers, it's a set deal. I mean, and so
if that contract's gonna expire, then yeah, they should
Yeah.
initiate
Yeah.
the negotiation process for, okay. All right, we need to put our head around that, but I'm gonna need a vote to approve the negotiated contract terms. So, all in favor? 3-0, Janet?
I have a quick question, so I can get help on getting the word.
Oh, it's not on there, yeah.
No.
Monica would. If you could figure it out to do it in February, it would help me know that with the budgeting process.
Okay.
I don't know if that. Yeah.
And that would be,
Or trigger.
that'd be for all the administrative staff, or are we talking about like
Confidential,
confidential?
all of them. Because I have to have the budget, our budget, first budget committee meeting is April 20th.
So when classified or confidential wants to negotiate, they trigger that process currently?
How does that work? Like, do they do it in December?
They're on a schedule.
Yeah.
Really, I think they start September of the year.
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
But their rep will
Mhm.
trigger that process.
And I will
That's where we're-
say it was certified, it doesn't always happen by February.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah.
To say what I.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
no.
anybody in a negotiating year of the groups will start much earlier than that.
I'm just trying to think if we need to have like a policy or something that helps to remind everybody, I don't know.
I
'Cause-
think generally the administrator remembers, the superintendent usually does, and a lot of times.
You're head of the association.
The association
head
will
of-
come and
yeah.
ask and get with me and say, hey,
Yeah.
can we start, it's like whenever you want to kind of thing. We're usually okay with that. This just got us off because new employee, I didn't think about it, and it was probably as much my fault too, as much as anybody else's, because I could have reminded him to negotiate with you, but it just didn't cross my mind.
So I was thinking when that happened, like with Cameron's contract, you kind of brought that forward to us and.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I couldn't remember.
I know, see, and I didn't really
I
either.
had initiated it.
Yes,
To her,
yes.
Yeah,
perfect.
I think he just probably didn't because he was new and then.
Yeah.
We just were thinking, I think we just followed up.
It was a new contract, so-
It was a brand new contract. I
Yeah.
think he just needed to see whether or not he was renewed first.
Yeah,
Before
right.
he actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where that was as well, but it shouldn't be
I
like
don't-
that.
Yeah, I don't think he knew
Right.
that he could negotiate.
Yeah.
He hadn't been.
Good.
It had been renewed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scott would like.
Janet,
to
could I get some help? I am not finding this today.
So February, you would like that
I mean, it just.
to be done.
And I think, next time, Dan, it won't be a deal, but just because he was kind of odd man out this time.
Yeah.
In terms of timing cycle.
Okay. Well, if there's any heads of different classifications in our staff out here, make sure they kind of know, kind of
Yeah.
help us out, remind us and administrators as well.
Yeah, because it is a negotiation year next year.
Just that. All right. How you doing there, Scott?
I'm doing great. Janet's looking too, so I'm not the only one that's lost.
Mine's acting kind of weird too.
Our internet's been awful.
Our internet has been so screwy
Hmm.
and Google, a lot of it's been Google.
I finally got it.
See, now it's
Slow.
now it's disappeared out of that.
And it's really, really slow to start with.
Because we lost internet for
Oh,
a bit
not
today
connected
again. When I was trying to send you the guys that update
Oh, yeah.
and then today. So
Yeah, I have no excuse for being late.
Oh,
So
yeah,
odd
you don't
because
have to
you're
say
not
anything,
connected.
it's just. Nobody would know, Dwight.
I could have snuck in.
He's so honest. I'm just glad it wasn't you.
Does he want to look at his mine because I've got most of mine printed out.
Or
Yeah, let me see if I can get this on the. Hey,
I just have it pulled up, not in the drive, but in the email.
Yeah, we're moving into the policy thing, so.
it's real.
no,
For some reason, it was saying you were on, but you actually weren't on. It's slow. Just gotta, it's getting there. It's slow.
Isn't Nick here? Yeah, it's here. It's your fault, Nick. What's going on with this network?
On Saturday.
All week.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just been a mess.
Good.
there. Yeah, the agenda's there. Maybe.
I tell people when they call me, I said, you got 10 seconds to get the plot.
Just
My
slow.
phone dies.
Well,
all right, thanks.
good. Nope, we're
We
done.
got it,
It might load.
I think.
You okay? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
You're up.
up and running.
Good.
Well, it's got-
You are.
Maybe get Preston's computer. Maybe it works better. All right, let's move on. 5.3 district policy review. We had policies BB and BBB for the second reading. Janet, did you happen to correct BBB?
Well, I put a email into Spencer Lewis saying we want to correct those dates.
Yeah,
in-
just changing those dates. Okay, so that was the only change to that. So if we approve the second reading today, pending those changes, is that how we would say that?
I would say you would approve
Changes.
it with changes to the dates.
With the date change?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the second reading? And adoption, readoption, should be a readoption.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading and readoption of policies BB and BBB,
With the
With-
updated dates, yeah.
correct dates, yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, move to second, all in favor, raise your hand. 4-0, Janet. Thank you. First reading on BBC and BBD. Be glad to be done with the Bs pretty soon.
Yeah. Gonna be here for a bit.
I didn't see, there's a pretty straightforward one with board member resignation and a board member removal from office. The only question I found was on BBD. Just went off for two. Oh, no, I didn't. It was 2 consecutive months, so that means if you miss 2 consecutive meetings. And
Doctors don't say yeah.
Not a doctor's note.
without, 4 with a note.
And unexcused absence.
Okay,
Just an update in the review date of those.
yeah, before, yeah, that's just the first reading, so. Is there a motion to accept the first reading?
I'll move we accept his first reading of BBC and BBD as presented.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved in second, all in favor? 4, Janet. 5.4 is a superintendent transition schedule. Tentatively, and I know Amy's joining us on the web. Tentatively, we're looking at a meet and greet on the night of April 30th. And that would be an all community, all schools sort of a meet and greet. And then possibly I've talked with Gail about May 1st. It's a staff professional development day that Amy can then participate with the staff professional development day. So,
Participate and observe, whatever she is.
yeah, observe. Yep.
Meet and greet, like what time are you thinking that evening on the 30th? 6?
Probably around 6. Yeah. You know, does it depend on when everybody could be there, but I'm guessing shooting for 6.
I'll be in Virginia.
Excellent.
Yep.
So. Okay. Anything else on that? Because we've kind of talked about that there. So Preston is our party planner, so I will put him in charge of what happens on that. Because we were talking about, you know,
Maybe he can be in charge of food.
yeah, he will be. Yeah, we'll take care of all that. Yeah. So. Okay, 5.4.2 is transition days discussion. So just to be transparent, part of the negotiations of the contract for Ms. Skirvin was relocation stipend, and that money can be used for 2 things. One, to relocate her to this area, but also to provide for days that she can work with staff and other people prior to July 1st. That's the contract period. That's when the contract starts, July 1st. And to keep it cleaner so that there wasn't reimbursements to cross school districts and whatever for time. We saw that as a win-win so that she was able to come in. Gail and I had some discussions about what that might look like because we didn't want to disrupt things or, you know, and that's a busy point at the time of the year, but it sounds like Gail, a lot of her stuff will be wrapped up mid-June. And then there's a Seaside conference, I believe, for administrators. And so after that time, then it'd be another great time for Amy to come in and work prior to that July 1st date. So, but there might be some days and I'll talk with Amy about that. And then Janet, you and Amy can work out those other days that she might be able to come over and work. So just to let everybody know that, you know, Ms. Skirvin wants to jump in here and get as much, at least the feel for what's going on and before that July 1st date. Okay. Any questions about any of that? Okay. 5.5 is a school board meeting date change discussion. And Janet might have a little more on this, but basically the ESD, all of the school board meetings for Lake County, I'm assuming, are in this week. And Lane Stratton would like to be able to visit more of these meetings, and he just can't get to all of them because they're all in the same week. So I think the request or the idea was to see if there was any interest in moving some of the dates. Now, we wouldn't be able to do ours until July because that's our orientation meeting or whatever, it's their setup meeting. But it's something we need to kind of think about now, whether or not we want to choose another week. And I got thinking, well, maybe there better be some coordination so that
Well,
all
that's what I was going to say.
change.
You said we all changed.
Yeah. We go to the same week. So I think there's going to have to be some kind of discussions globally within that. But July is the time that we set our school board meeting for the calendar. So we need to kind of think if this is if we're willing to change or not, kind of what it is. And I guess if we're not, then it doesn't really matter. It is what it is. So Okay, so that's just informational, nothing to,
Yeah, I think we've got another or two we can decide.
yeah, we just don't want to lose that thought. And I don't know how, when is there an ESD meeting or a county meeting, countywide meeting that's maybe that coordination piece can be discussed if, you know, if the other three school districts say, no, we're not moving, then that might give us more.
Well, there is another ESD budget meeting, but I do not remember when.
I have it on May 20th. Does that look right?
Pretty good potential.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. May 20th, and that would be at Paisley.
Maybe that could get on their agenda since they brought this.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if maybe we just decide, okay, we would be willing. If we were, here would be the date, but let's check with all the other districts first and make sure they're not all
Right.
Okay.
moving to the same. Yeah,
Well, let's have this discussion in probably the next meeting. Let's have this on the agenda for the next meeting, so we just get it done and
Yeah.
we wouldn't have that ESD meeting done though.
is there like any real objection on our end to moving it at all?
I would say the first Monday was not good.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely not.
No, because we need time to get the information for the board.
Yeah,
I mean, so what are you thinking?
I was in the third,
Like,
Is that timing for
or is that,
Bill's contracts? Will that
see, and I don't
be
know.
messy?
It's like pay, well. It's on the.
Let's think about this. We're gonna have this on the June meeting,
Yeah,
the June meeting agenda, okay?
oh, June, not May.
Yeah, because May we won't have the ESD input,
Oh, okay.
so,
won't matter.
It'd be a little too hard in the first.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't
No.
think we can do the first week at
I
all.
think
No.
Paisley and us are the same night,
They are.
so that's part of the problem
Okay.
too.
Maybe Paisley will move.
Maybe we just
I mean,
tell them
if-
they have to.
Tell them we can't.
If it doesn't work,
You
then
guys,
for us, it's not the end of the world for Langdon.
No, and I don't think I think he's just trying to be more proactive, be more face to face.
Good, good for him to ask, but we don't have
Yeah,
to.
no, we don't have.
No, you don't have to.
So let's do the.
Research it a little, let's see, yeah.
And let's just make sure there's no conflicts, because we've got some of the people that would have conflicts in the room. And then we'll come back in June, and if it's something we want to do, we can do it. If not, we'll just, and then July will be our setup meeting for the schedule, so. Okay. Good. New business, 6.1, social studies textbook adoption.
All right, so yeah, it's social studies textbook adoption year. Looking at, one of the priorities we came up with was having a K-12 curriculum. So that you didn't have holes jumping around, and there were only, I think, 2 that were approved by the state of Oregon for the entire series. Some were missing different parts and pieces. So the one we would like to adopt is Savas Learning. Everybody seemed to like it. It's laid out pretty well. It works with middle school, high school. It's the same. The middle school ones can be kind of interchanged of what's taught what year, so that makes it nice. Ms. Strickland and Mr. Herndon sat down and kind of made sure that would work for them. They were on the same page. Our current books are from 2006. I ordered those. So they're a little bit old. A 3-year, so looking at the online subscription, which that was one of the components that, especially at the high school and middle school, they like. There are new discoveries, that online component gets updated periodically, or even current events will get updated. So you're not, they don't have to do a ton of extra research if something updates, and that will be. And they did the 3-year online subscription. By then we know who is using it, who isn't using it, and we can drop off some of the online subscriptions if they're not being used. And the total cost of that is $41,808 and I think 88 cents. I didn't write the cents down.
41,000.
808.
88 cents.
I think it was, I don't know, I didn't write it.
He's just making it.
Probably, could have been 84.
Yeah, 88.
Okay,
In the sense it's gonna be the make or break.
is that within our allotted budget?
Yeah.
All that, so,
It's in that budget document.
Yeah.
It's for next year.
yeah,
Yeah.
just want to make sure we're consistent with what we're putting into, so. Okay. Questions? Need a motion and then discussion, I guess. There's,
Yeah, so we need a motion to accept the social studies.
So,
proposal.
I'll move that we accept the social studies textbook adoption as presented.
Okay.
So Cameron, I do have a few questions. You talked about the online part, but these are books as well?
Yes,
At all?
so we'll have the books and then they do have a supplemental online, so
Okay,
there's videos, different things.
I see.
Like current events, it'll have a current events page that they can click on, so if something's current. Like right now,
Like right now.
lots of stuff to be able to add. And like, what was it, a couple months ago that they found the woven cloth out in the caves? You know, that would be something they would enter in as well, so.
Okay,
Rather than waiting 20 years for an updated textbook, it'll
get some of
periodically,
that current events.
yeah, and update some of those, yeah, findings and stuff.
Seems good.
Yeah, social studies, not history, so.
Yeah. Well, and for us, it, you know, covers the gambit where we've got world history, US history at the different levels, geography, civics, so it's, yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions? Fears?
I guess, was there just the two teachers that went through it and?
No,
that kind of thing?
they initially did, and then I got a bunch of samples for the elementary, and so they looked at them as well, and that was, like I said, one of the priorities was having it as a K-12,
Mhm.
so that.
That thread's pretty good across.
Yeah, and then we're not teaching the same thing 2 years in a row, 'cause there's no flow for the no continuity with what's being presented in the books.
Ms. Strickland and Mr. Herman just looked for that transition from 6th to 7th so that there wasn't a ton of overlap, a ton of gap, and just alignment basically. And then everybody else looked too at the elementary. So
You said in 2006 was our last adoption
I
here.
believe
So
so.
what was that? Was that same?
It was a completely different series. There were 2 or 3 of the major publications that, because of some of Oregon's requests, they didn't even submit.
So you only had two options.
I mean, there was a
Or-
couple others, but that went
Yeah.
like K6. Some didn't have like a middle school adoption that was approved, or didn't have the elementary, or so this was. And the one, they didn't really make the layout of it, so.
Okay,
So at the state level, is it who approves each curriculum that's available in the state?
you have a specialist.
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
department,
they've got it great.
for history and
Every year for every, whatever's up. There's a 7-year cycle, things get adopted,
Yeah.
so.
you don't have as much choice as you think you
Mhm.
might or should.
Exactly.
I believe they say it's very well vetted. I think that's how they say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
any other discussion? Motion on the floor. All those in favor? 4-0, Janet. Thank you. All right, 6.2, we have a certified staff retirement.
Yeah.
Gail, you want?
Yeah.
Just a little bit on that.
Yeah, we just had an unexpected surprise retirement that was submitted last Thursday, late in the day. And from Stephanie Strickland. She's just decided it's time to retire. She's ready to move on. She sent a very nice letter. Grateful to have worked here all the years that she has and leaves in good standing. She's just ready to move on to the next phase of her life. And so we accepted her letter of resignation, so we're passing it on to you. She says effective June 13th, and you can read what else she wrote there. She's been a great member of our staff for a very long time, and that leaves her position open. So gives us a little bit of maybe movement on that end of the building, if you want to put it that way, or maybe not. We might just see where we go with that. But I've accepted it. You guys need to vote to accept it as well, officially, for resignation as a certified.
If I remember right, we didn't have a teacher for that grade level or position, and she helped us out.
Correct.
Yes, she did.
It was 1 year only, 1 year only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Done a good job.
She was here for 4, and then she left for 3, and then came back for 3 more.
Okay.
So, yeah, she filled us, she did. She stepped in when we didn't have anybody, and has done a great job.
Well,
But
guess I'll entertain a
Yeah,
motion.
I'll move that we accept the resignation of Strickland effective June 13th, 2026.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Just want to thank Ms. Strickland for her services. Just
Okay.
great. So all those in favor? Row, Janet, thank you.
thank you.
Number 7, roofing project. Is it on?
Yeah, it's already done. It's good. This is the line roof.
So what do we gotta talk about?
Yeah, right. Office anything?
Yeah,
No, it's more of an update on a question I think you might have had, Dan, about, whenever all said that, about kind of relocating some of the AC units. Over spring break, Jason wasn't able to come out, but Anthony, one of the guys that worked for him, he was out there. And it kind of, to relocate them, it creates a big issue in efficiency.
Okay.
And whether or not we can actually even do it. Because when you look at our school and how it's built, you don't really have a lot of areas to take units off the roof and place, if that makes sense. Especially when you start looking at where those units are placed, we have parking lots, or we have, a courtyard, we have a gym.
Yeah.
It sounds like we kind of have tried to put them on the ground. Right now, we've only got one that's outside of a gym. They've put up the ground. Electricity becomes another issue. Right now, I guess 3-4 years ago, we had 2 AC units put up there that we can't even get power to. So that becomes another issue is, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of power to draw from them. And we do start moving stuff, assuming we would all go, majority would have to go to one area or 2 different areas. Now we need power for 2. And then running lines, they have recommendations on how far you can run a line. The further the line runs, the line, the less efficient it is. So it kind of sounds like that would be a really difficult route.
Good.
We're gonna lose efficiency. If possible, we can do it. Start looking at it. But moving forward, I do think it is, and it sounds like we have been. If that unit is capable of going on the ground, it goes on the ground. If not,
yeah.
But I can't see need to put any more AC units on the roof. We have it in most of our furnaces have it. Like I said, we have 2 units right now that we have set up. I believe one of them is home ag. Not sure where Jason said the other one, but we just have not been able to find power for it. And yeah. And then besides that, I talked to Chris McKay really quick this morning, and he's going to start sending monthly board reports for you guys. You kind of see the work they're doing, what's going on. And if you guys have any other questions, you can reach out to them, or I can go.
So Barry, was there a couple that could be moved or not really? Those have already been moved.
Yeah, well, and I wouldn't necessarily, I don't want to say they've already been moved, but I'm not 100% sure, but like when we added the air conditioners to the gym, I know it was a discussion about the one that we actually put on. It's a good sized unit. But I don't know if that was because of the line take too far. We didn't have a safe place we could put it,
Sure.
contain it, and keep kids away from it, kind of thing. The other one kind of sits out back behind the locker room. It's pretty well contained unit, and the run wasn't very long because fortunately that furnace is right above the locker room. We set that unit right outside. So
Kind of already got all the easy ones are done then.
I think so.
Okay.
Yep. Unfortunately, yeah, it might only get more difficult. But like I said, I can't see a need to add any more air conditioners. I think, yeah, I could be completely wrong, but the home ec and wherever the other one goes, the last two, I think that we had on that list of things we needed to approve on as far as HVAC went. And we have them, we just need to find a way to get power to them.
They're up on the road now.
Yeah, yep. Anthony showed them to me during spring break. They're marked with black tape and that they put them in 3-4 years ago and we just couldn't get power.
Well, they're not using any, let's just do.
So we didn't
It sounds like those could be
either
removed.
get power to them or.
But Jason's concern was, he did say we do need to try to get power to them quickly. Jason's concern is they've been sitting there and they're just essentially rotting, you know, they're not being ran, they're not being pumped through, and the seals aren't being lubricated.
Yeah.
So he was like, you know, we put that money into the Humvee years ago, we need to get one.
Yeah.
And I have talked to Ted about coming out this summer and from Central Electric and seeing if he can't find spot to pull power from. He was the one that found the spot for both our gymnasiums.
Yeah, he'll find it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Good. All right.
Batteries, yeah.
Solar?
Oh,
Yeah, solar, yeah. Maybe we start using the solar panel.
Cheaper.
Probably.
well, I think that was the fear when that question was posed, so
Yeah,
that's good. Is there anything else than that? Just the updates? So,
yeah, that's about it. Yeah, for now, I think that's about it.
all right. Janet, did I tell you about a 7.2? It's quick. Okay, SCI reports are due
Oh.
15th.
No, you did not.
We're gonna talk about that at the end of the meeting, I thought.
We were.
I don't know, I was gonna bring it up, but good, it's already covered.
It's in the other business section.
Okay,
Just to remind.
yours is done,
So,
overachievers, I tell
No,
you.
thank you. Usually I look for the nasty gram from them and they haven't sent me. one yet.
yeah,
So-
When did she do, did you say?
15th, April 15th.
Okay, because I sent mine in, so I think, well, I wasn't gonna, then I thought, well, better, and then
Yeah.
just to be safe.
That $10 a day fine. For your,
Well, here.
Okay.
for your public service. Thank you, State of Oregon. All right, yeah, 7.2. All right, 8, VP AD report. Aaron is off tonight. We have anything?
He's at the OADA conference, in Sun River
Okay,
this weekend. We'll be back on Wednesday. Track is going well. We've got, been seeing a lot of PRs come through. Seems to be going well. Haven't heard any complaints yet, so. I know they were working, talked to them a couple times last few days. I know they're working on some different SOPs for our million special districts and trying to get that streamlined. So that's probably about it from him. Kind of moving on to mine. March 10th, Mrs. Brown in the 4th grade class had 2 performances of the westward movement. One was more for students and staff, and then a second parents. That's always a spring highlight. March 16th, the High Desert STEM Hub put on a Rubathon for the 7th and 8th grade students. Paisley also sent up 2 teams. Students had to build a contraption that would feed a dog. And they had all sorts of materials and whatnot to actually accomplish it. Barry was one of the judges on that. Some of them had some pretty intricate designs. One group from Paisley even had a real intricate one, and we're running out of time, so they were able to, on the fly, still finish it up and made it work. There was about 3 or 4 that worked, a couple that didn't.
It didn't work when it came time to show them, but we
Yeah.
actually had them working.
They had 'em working.
We all witnessed them work right before, yeah.
Yeah.
It-
So it was a pretty neat deal. I think the kids all had fun. The ladies from the STEM Hub enjoyed it, and the kids were well behaved, so that was always a bonus. Scott had touched on the FFA banquet. Couple things to add to that. Obviously, the kids did a great job. Middle school students served and cleared the tables, which is a new wrinkle to it. As Scott said, it was very well attended. We thought we were gonna have to bring down some more tables and chairs. The National Soils team met their fundraising goal for the trip to Oklahoma about a month. So that is good. On the 22nd of this month, I'm taking the 8th graders to Prineville for another career connected field trip. They're gonna tour the electrical apprentice building there over in Prineville. So that'll be good for those guys. Miss Scarborough Yeomans had a couple of loaner VRs that had different career exploration kind of units or programs in it. One I had seen as far as a demo was like a phlebotomist, and so you had to manipulate how you were gonna set up the needles, do all that. I haven't gotten a chance to check with her to see how that all went, but Ms. Waldron might have something to add there.
No, it was fun. There's the phlebotomist one where you could take the VR blood, all of that. There was one where you were building a machine. And like solving math problems, and then you build the machine, hopefully before it went to the smelter. But I think there were a bunch of others like for certifications.
Yeah,
But they can actually do like different like electrical circuit certifications, other certifications, yeah. There was one of them that was one program on one group of them was like really heavy, like CTE. And then the other one was more like health services type jobs as well. But the other one was kind of industrial. Cooking, there was a cooking class too.
so kind of a way for kids to see a little more kind of hands-on of what they'd actually have to do, and oh, I need math for this. So kind of get an eye opener on that. As part of the early literacy grant, the K-3 teachers requested that Lindsay Garrett come observe the teaching the material that she's been working with the staff on the last 2 years, basically. Lindsay observed the teachers. They had a debrief, and kind of between what she saw and then what the teachers feel like they still need some help on, or what they're doing good. We'll set up the May 1st PD for them for that agenda to continue on that. Gave you the curriculum update, and then starting to work on the master schedule for next year. Prom's coming up, and the spring blood drive is April 21st from 11 to 4. And we're gearing up for the Night of Excellence, Learning Fair, and the 8th grade parent. That's all I got.
Do you have a date for the Night of Excellence yet?
I do. That is May 6th. Mr. Flack will get to learn how to present that on the fly, because I will be in Oklahoma. Soil school.
Oh, yeah. Somebody had to go, right? Somebody had to go.
I dove on that bomb.
What time is that at, you know?
Starts at 4,
4 to 6,
Yeah.
same as usual.
6-ish. Dinner will be served that night.
Okay, thanks. Superintendent's report.
Okay, I don't have much to share with you, just letting you know that I submitted the Renaissance Star program as our interim assessment of choice for the Senate Bill 141. We're gonna have to show accountability and meet all the metrics and targeted performance targets. So we're gonna do that. We talked about that before because Lake County is gonna be a consortium. We're all gonna use the Renaissance because Margie Colas is the expert in that. She can train us on that. Lane is going to pay for that for all the schools in the county, at least the basic package. If we want to add anything more to it, then that's on us. That's kind of a cool deal. So at least as a county, we can run that together if we want to. At least we have Margie to train us. We've been using Renaissance for years. There's no reason to change. There were only 4 approved tests and that was one of them. So no reason at all to move to something else. We already know how to use it. We like it fine and we can stick with it. So I went ahead and I didn't see anywhere that you guys had to approve that as a board. I talked to Lane about it. He didn't think so either. So I just went ahead. It was just a quick little thing. What are you going to use? Yep. Already one. We're just going to stick with one we have. It's already on the list. It was just that simple. So I already did that on our behalf. As far the other thing I sent you was this big deal, and I'm not going to spend any time talking about it, but it was this big legislative report. Get one of these every year. I didn't know if you had already received one from OSBA or not. But it always comes because it's a joint publication from OSBA and COSA. And it's just something that is a very good summary of all the bills that went through the session this year, the 2026 regular session. And then they talked a little bit about the short session as well, a little bit about the revenue situation and all the other bills that have something to do with schools. All the ones in here have something to do with schools. It's not just the whole gamut. It's the ones that relate to us. So I don't really have anything much to say about it other than I want you to have it as a reference because at some point in time, if we want to come back and talk about a particular bill, there will be a good explanation of it in here. I need to send it to you electronically if I didn't, because there are all kinds of links in there you can click. Like if you go to, I don't think I did send it to you electronically, but if you go to the index page, there's somewhere they're all highlighted. You can click on any one of those and it'll take you to the bill. You can read about it if there's anything you want to know about. And it's a good electronic resource to have too. So I will send that out to you. Anyway, that's about it. The only thing they did say of any interest is that on page 2, it says the Oregon budget will continue to be stretched thin over the next 2 biennia. Basically, as they're kind of blaming it all on federal HR 1 tax and spending bill shifts in Medicaid and SNAP assistance programs. I think it's more than that personally, but that's what you'll read in this report. So anyway, just for your reference for the most part. So you have it. So this is one I would keep and I will send out electronically, like I said, and get the background. You can look tomorrow. Too much in there to talk about each one individually. So
Yeah, no, there's too much in there.
there is. And they
You have to quiz everybody afterwards.
We would, and I didn't make a quiz, nor did I write a test or anything like that, so,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah. We're more than welcome. Yes, yes. Anyway, so that was about it. But it's very well organized. I like this publication. It is one of that I print and look at every year and also click into the bills individually.
I think they did some of the last legislative report or something from OSBA.
You think they did send it?
So
Well, it's
Right.
fine.
If you'd send us in an email, then I could find it.
just
I
that,
probably won't find it in the.
yeah, because there's a lot of.
OSBA report, so.
Do you remember, did I send it to you or did I just make you this hard copy?
No, OSBA, I think since.
Okay.
Since-
Morgan sent it to me
I
from
guess.
COSA, but I just
Yeah.
didn't know if you guys got it or not. I will resend so you have it electronically. Cause I mean, this one is what, 17, 18 pages. It's been longer than this before. Sometimes it can get pretty big, just depends on how many bills go through and how many are related to education, but it's still a good resource. So in the future, it's a good one to hang on to and refer to from time to time. So I will make a note to send it to you and then you'll have it. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Number 9, we don't have an executive session. Number 10,
We're not these days, calendar.
what's that?
I said, I forgot to tag a calendar of events on there.
That's on there. On the computer, isn't it? Or did you?
It's just.
No, I just-
Didn't hyperlink it? It says.
Create one and send one to you, just so that you see
Yeah.
what's coming up
Okay.
on our school calendar.
Okay, we'll get that follow up too then. And then, number 11, next meeting, future agenda. Now we have a budget meeting, April 10th. 20th, geez, Louise. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking.
10,
And you just told me it,
already over. All right.
April 20th,
Next Monday.
6 p.m. next Monday, and I was informed that the entire board needs to be present. So don't be late,
6:00.
6 o'clock.
We always do them at 6.
I know, but.
They should get
Must have been a time change or something. I don't know.
It's still in Europe time.
Yeah. Lafayette.
I don't feel bad for it. Board meeting, is May 11th, so. And then May 6th, the night of excellence. Anything else?
May 20.
The only thing I would say, I think I put this in the board update, is we have a track meet. Is it our only track meet on May 8th? Is it the only
Yes.
track meet we have? If anybody here, and if you guys want to help with that, at least for a bit, that would be great. It takes a ton of people to put that on. And everybody is very much appreciated in terms of, Dwight knows this, running an event for helping out. It takes about 3 people per event, doesn't it, Dwight?
Pretty close to it, yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in helping, that would be great. I'm sure Olivia would be grateful for the help.
Cause that email went out. I got an email about that through some Jim.
Well, I think Aaron probably sent it out. I mentioned it in the update because he sent it out to all the teachers. I'm just reminding everybody.
What was the date on that?
May 8th.
It doesn't start at 6:00. Start at 6:00.
No,
Okay.
Yeah,
So that'd be late. It's
You can-
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to get done at 5:30 if I read
Alright.
text correctly.
Thanks, Dwight.
Yeah.
Thanks for the help.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for the good in the order? Janet, you good? Okay. With that, at 6:56, I call this meeting adjourned.
All right. Vision.
Told you. That's a record. Told you. Ah, getting there. Yeah, not as good as the 6-minute meeting the other day, but getting close.
Yeah, well, let's compare apples to apples.
Yeah, all right. Meeting next Monday.
47.
They're not.
Did you get mine already?
Yes, we'll see.
Thank you all.
We roll next Monday. You know.
Use mine, I guess.
I was gonna give you mine. See, mine,
Yeah.
get as much of my paper copies of, forget to put that.